Good morning, folks.
Hello.
I think I heard Raf say he didn't get the result he expected after the last federal election. Do you recall him saying that?
I'm not saying he did not.
Okay. Were you hoping that Bill Shorten would have been the Prime Minister after the last federal election?
Nice to see you.
No, you weren't hoping that Bill Shorten. Okay, well, it would have, of course, been the first time a PM was elected after being accused of rape, but that's another matter altogether. Good. Have a good trip home. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders. Raf, I've been hoping that Raf would emerge, but I hadn't seen him, and it's possible that he'd come in by private car, or maybe he even arrived by tram, who knows. But I'm delighted to see that the journos were able to open their own car doors as opposed to Albo, also known colloquially as anal. If Scott Morrison can be ScoMo, then Anthony Albanese can be anal, as far as I'm concerned, which I think to a certain extent is quite apt. But I am intrigued that Katharine. Look, Katharine's a journo with The Guardian, which I think most people would regard as a somewhat leftist viewpoint in the world. And a lot of the spruikers of political correctness are quick to bash media outlets that have either... Raf, mate, I think you said you didn't get the election result you expected last time. Were you hoping that Bill Shorten would be PM? You know, the bloke who's been accused of rape. Was that your preference, Raf? Nah. Not prepared to join a conversation. He's perfectly happy to have a go on the couch, and presumably when he's behind the mic at their ABC. But when someone attempts to ask him what I think is a very reasonable question, he slinks away. In my opinion, he slinks away, and. Let's just have a quick look. As a matter of fact, I will stroll down the street. You never know, he might hop into a fuel-guzzling SUV that's parked on the street, although why he would do that I don't know. Given that there is a secure car park in the basement of their ABC. Yes, of course, the journos were reporting on the flooding in northern New South Wales and southern Queensland, as well they should. It's desperate times for the poor people who live in that area. But I did see a report in the media recently that indicated that the city of Grafton, on the Clarence River, I believe, in northern New South Wales, had decided that it was time to put in an extensive system of levees around their city. Was it 30 years ago? And according to the report that I read, they've not had significant damage from a flood since they went ahead and put in the system of levees. Now maybe that should have been a blueprint for other towns and cities that are occasionally confronted with flood conditions. I mean, after all, Australia is a land of drought and flooding rain. Always was and always will be. So action could have been taken in all of the areas that have been confronted with this absolute disaster in recent weeks. But once again, I remind the viewers that Tim Flannery famously said in 2007 that climate change was going to see a reduction in rainfall, and even the rains that fall will not actually fill our dams and rivers. And partly as a result of commentary along those lines from purported climate experts like Flannery and was it Resenda? I forget the guy's name at the IPCC. We're just not going to see the rains. It's not going to fill the dams and rivers. And of course, apparently nothing could have been further from the truth. They used to call it global warming, and of course now they call it global climate change, so that whatever happens, they can blame it on their pet explanation. I have no doubt that the climate is changing, and I have no doubt that man's activities are having an effect. Mind you, I do understand there was something called the Ice Age, 10,000 odd years ago, which saw ice sheets across much of Europe and North America, I believe, and the ice receded long before there were human CO2 emissions. So there are natural factors and there are man-made factors. Some people, especially at their ABC and Antonio Guterres and at the UN, have jumped wholeheartedly onto the man-made climate change gravy train. But as I've often said, the people who bang on the most about it are the very people you see climbing into chauffeur-driven, fuel-guzzling Commonwealth limos or Ubers or the like, and driving out to the airport to fly on CO2 belching jet aircraft back to wherever they've come from for the sole purpose of appearing on Insiders on a Sunday morning. On the other hand, my carbon footprint is almost non-existent because I walk around here on a Sunday morning. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders. By the way, I should have asked Raf if he had ever invited Kathy Sheriff to come on his ABC radio program to discuss with a lady who says she's a victim of a rape by Bill Shorten, to tell her side of the story to ABC radio listeners. And I'll make some inquiries to see whether there is any evidence that RAF or any other ABC journo has ever reached out to Kathy Sheriff to invite her to appear on an ABC radio or TV news program to tell her side of the story and her allegation that she was raped by Bill Shorten back in the 1980s. My recollection, the circumstances involved participation in a young labour camp. So Shorten's apparently been associated with the Labor Party for maybe 40 years. The Labor Party anointed him as their proposed candidate for Prime Minister of Australia at the 2019 election. And I haven't seen a single senior Labor Party apparatchik, politician, member of Parliament, you name it, say that they've reached out to Kathy Sheriff to get her side of the story. So all of these, and just harking back to this morning's Insiders, in the closing comments, Katharine Murphy made some mention of the adverse circumstances that Australian women find themselves in. And you saw what she had to say, or did not have to say, about my question regarding the rape allegation against Bill Shorten.